Hey guys, what's up? It's Apple Critics from applecritics.com. I got another special video for you guys. In this video, I'm going to be showing you what's on my iPad Pro. So the iPad Pro and just the iPad in general has been around since 2010, and over this decade of the iPad Pro exquisite's Apple's finest device. Now, during these times of quarantine, the iPad Pro I've been using a lot more and more, and I've realized its use. Now, it is somewhere between the usability of your phone and your MacBook Pro, and sometimes I've been using it a lot more than my MacBook Pro because I realized that a majority of the things that I do on my MacBook Pro can be accomplished with this iPad Pro. So here you can see it, and I have the keyboard along with it, but a majority of the tasks that I do on my MacBook can be accomplished on my iPad. So the iPad is just a little more unique and more personal, and that's why I use it. Now, the only thing that I can't do on my iPad is use Final Cut Pro, because that's what I use to edit all my videos, and you need a Mac in order to do that. But other than that, the iPad is very usable, and that is why I'm going to be showing you what is on my iPad Pro. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. So what is on my iPad Pro? So on the first screen, we can see that we have the FaceTime, the calendar, the photos, a lot of the standard apps. Now, I don't really mess around with the home screen too much, but there is a lot of great content on the home screen. So I do use FaceTime a lot. FaceTime has just been around since the iPhone 4S, and I've realized its use. There's just a lot of great use of FaceTime, and FaceTime audio as well is very good. If you don't know what FaceTime audio is, maybe if you have bad call quality and you want to call someone, you can just use a FaceTime audio and it'll call them over your Wi-Fi, so it doesn't use any of your minutes or anything like that. So it's a great alternative. Now, next up, we have the calendar and the photos. Now, the camera I do use sometimes on the iPad. It's a pretty decent camera, I would say. So I don't really have too many complaints about it. Now, the overall app that I use the most would probably be Apple TV. And going into Apple TV, you can see that we have the Apple TV Plus, and it has Apple Originals and everything like that. Now, it's unfair to say that Apple is on the same level of Netflix for Apple TV Plus, but they are on the way. As long as they find some good original content, a lot of the Apple users will be coming to Apple TV Plus. Now, I've especially noticed that they have a 1-year free trial, and that is very unique and will gain a lot more subscribers, as everybody basically owns an Apple device, whether it be a iPhone, iPad, maybe even iPod Touch. Everybody has an iDevice, and that's how Apple will be successful with Apple TV Plus. Now, they do have shows like The Morning Show and other shows like that, but Netflix did have a 10-year head start when it comes to original content and building a sustainable streaming platform. Now, we do have the iTunes Store and the App Store and the books. I don't really use the books app. I'm more of podcast. Podcast app is just very clutch on the iPad Pro. It has a lot of great content there. You can never go wrong with a good podcast. So that's why I really do use the podcast app a lot. Now, in terms of my second page, once again, you can see the podcast app right there. We do have the photo booth app, which I never really use. So here's the photo booth, but it is good to have. It brings me back to using photo booth on my Mac. Now, there is a shortcuts as well, so you can perform certain tasks and automate certain tasks on your iPad. So let's say, for example, you want to play a certain song, you can make a Siri shortcut for that. So now what we can do is actually go into the Siri Shortcuts app, and it's a very solid app. It allows automation, and you can just use shortcuts. You can even program it with the HomeKit to turn off certain lights when you press a button, and it just has a lot of great features within the Shortcuts app, and it is very underrated, as many Apple iOS device or iPadOS device users don't really know the true power of the Shortcuts app that Apple introduced. Now, we do have the voice memos and measure, the Apple Store app, which is very convenient as it integrates with your Apple ID, and you can just go ahead and buy stuff right away. So the Apple Store app is just definitely a staple to have, so I can order whatever I need for my iPad. So I highly recommend it. Now we have Clips, GarageBand, Keynote, Numbers, and Pages, so the standard iWork suite. So in terms of iWork, I just recommend the GarageBand app. If you ever want to make a podcast, you can record it with GarageBand and then distribute it from there. So you can just edit the clips that you want out of that podcast and then just take it from there. So it's really good in that way. Now, one of my favorite games is Real Racing 3. It's just fun to have a classic racing game on your iPad. You can never go wrong with that. Now, we do have Twitter. Twitter is just self-explanatory, a great social media app to just tweet out your thoughts, discover some new information, see what's trending on Twitter especially. So that's really interesting. Now, we do have YouTube Studio, which is just the creator studio for YouTube, so you can just manage all your videos, respond to comments, see how your videos are doing in terms of the views and everything like that. So it's just a really solid all-in-one app. So if you are a creator on YouTube or plan to be a creator on YouTube, you must install this app. Even if you don't have an iPad, it is available on iOS, so you can go ahead and get it. Now, we do have the Amazon app, which is a very solid app, and it speaks for itself. I really like the Amazon iPad app because it's really easy to navigate and find stuff and just buy with one click. Now, we do have the Analytics app for Google Analytics, so you can see all the metrics for a blog if you have one. Now, we have Audible. Now, Audible is hands down my favorite app of all time and the app that I've been using all of quarantine. Now, if you want to find some productivity within your schedule and you just want to listen to books instead of reading them, then Audible is your app. Because Audible just has every book you can basically think of. It has an audiobook format that's specifically made for Audible, so I highly recommend it. Now, I like that Audible has the features of letting you know how many hours you've listened in a day and giving you achievements for whenever you've been reading a lot. So I like that it makes it kind of competitive within Audible, so I really like that feature. Now, other than that, it's just good to get into a solid book as well with Audible, so I just highly recommend it, especially during these times. Now, I do use Google Chrome from time to time. I feel like it's a solid browser alternative to Safari, and it's made very well for iOS, the way it was coded. We do have the Crave app, which is specific to Canada. So it's a streaming app that has all the HBO content, all the Showtime content, and everything like that. It's a very solid app. I highly recommend it. It has a lot of good movies, TV shows, documentaries, everything like that. You can find it in Crave, and it's really, really well done. Now, we do have Facebook. Facebook is good to scroll around and just find some content, but I don't use it too often now. We have Gmail. Gmail is pretty spectacular on the iPad. The way it takes up the space on the screen, especially on a 12.9-inch iPad, that's when it really shines. Now, we do have Scrabble, so we have Scrabble Go. I just like learning new words and just using and competing against people who are also Scrabble fans. So you can just play as a guest, why not? So we can just try and win in Scrabble. So let me think of a quick word. So maybe you can just say joy. So we'll just use that word, submit it, see how we do. So a 20-point word. So right out of the box, I got a 20-point word on Scrabble. That's amazing. That's Apple Critics approved. So we can just keep going through this What's on My iPad. Just Scrabble is just a very fun app. It's basically the same as Words with Friends, but Scrabble did have the board game first. So we can end that debate, whether it was the chicken or the egg, but we can end that debate there. So we can go and take a look at Instagram. Instagram does not have an iPad version of the app, which I'm highly disappointed. Instagram should definitely have an iPad version. A lot of people look at Instagram on the iPad, I'm sure of that. So just the way it is just looks terrible, to be honest. And I really hope that Instagram will fix that because if Facebook can have a full iPad app, it's obviously possible that Instagram can have it. And Facebook has the same amount of coders and they can delegate to make it happen. So hopefully there will be a campaign somewhere that says Instagram can make an iPad app, or finally Instagram will make it happen. Now, Messenger goes hand in hand with Facebook, so it's just a Facebook Messenger portion, but it has a full app. Now, Netflix has some good content, of course, especially during the quarantine times. There's a lot of good TV shows and documentaries and movies to take a look at on Netflix. I highly recommend it. Now, Shazam has been my favorite app in forever. Shazam is just the go-to app to just find out what song is currently playing, and it never fails. Basically, every song it will pick up on Shazam. Now we do have the speed test app that will let you know how fast the speed test is for your iPad. So just seeing how fast the particular Wi-Fi spot you're in is. And also it works for cellular to see the 4G and 5G speeds as well. Now we do have the Score, which is like one of the best sports app to get some news on sports news and sports scores, and gives you a lot of live sports information as well. So that's really good. We have the App Store Connect app. So if you are a Apple developer, you can have access to the Apple Developer Connect app. And with the Apple Developer Connect app, you can just go ahead and see how your apps are doing on the App Store, and you get some more inside access to whenever you become a developer. So it's really good in that way. Now we do have Fish Roulette, which is a really good game. I also have Google Drive beside it, but we're going to go ahead and get into Fish Roulette. Now, this actually is my game, and it's available on the App Store, so we can go ahead and take a look at it. So what you have to do is just match the fish with the arrow, and you have these two joystick buttons, so you can just go ahead and try your best. So you can see it's just really addicting in that way, and you can just try it again. So you gotta be very quick with this app. So it's really good in that way, and that is Fish Roulette. I highly recommend downloading it. Link will be in the description down below. Now we have Google Docs, so it's really good that you have the ability to edit docs at the same time as someone else. So it's really good in that way. Blackboard is a very good college or university and high school app to just see what assignments are being assigned, and you can access your grades. We have the Calculator app, which the iPad actually does not come with a calculator app, so I found this Calculator app and it's really good in that way. So you can just say what's 2 times 2, and you can see it works. Great calculator app. It's Apple Critics approved, so we have that there. And now we have the currency app, which is really good to just have a decent currency app. I'm always looking at currency conversion, so this is a great currency app. We have the Shopify app, so if you have an e-commerce store, this is probably the app that you use to track how many sales you have, how many orders are pending, how many people are on your Shopify site, and everything like that. So it's really good. We have LinkedIn, so if you're looking for a job, go ahead and get LinkedIn and just see what's going on in your area in terms of the job market, and you can have your resume as well. Now we do have the Dropbox app, so just a cloud storage app. We have PowerPoint for Microsoft, and then we also have Duolingo. Duolingo is a super fun app if you want to learn a language. I highly recommend it. So we can go ahead and get started. We can start learning French. We can just learn it because you want to travel. You can pick a goal, so maybe you can do 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, or you can get all the way up to intense. So the scale is actually casual to intense. So you can go ahead and do that. So we can learn up to 20 minutes a day. I will just say 10 minutes a day. We'll just go regular. And we can say we're new to French or already know French. We'll say new to French. Now we have to choose which one is which. So it gives you the English version with a picture, so we can tell which one is the man. So you go ahead and check that. You can continue. We can say which one is the boy. So le garçon. So we can hit continue. And it says how do you say man? So and we can press check. You can continue. Who is the cat? So you can just choose this one. and now I can use it in a sentence. So you can see that it associates pictures with words and then words with pictures, then it wants you to use it in a sentence, and it's super interactive, and it's kind of cartoonish in a cool way, so it doesn't make it overwhelming or anything like that. So it's really good in that way. I highly recommend Duolingo. If you want to learn a language, it can be done with Duolingo, so go ahead and check it out. Now the next app is 1Password. 1Password does as the name suggests, and it's one password for all of your passwords. So you just have to remember one password, then you can put all your other passwords in for all your other online apps that you need a password with. So it's really good. I highly recommend it, and it's a solid and encrypted password app. So you only ever have to remember one password. You can get into hundreds or thousands of passwords that you have. So it's really good in that way. Now we do have the Masterclass app. So going into the Masterclass app, you can see how to master certain skills. So that's the meaning of the Masterclass app. It is a subscription-based app, but I think it's worth it if you want to master certain skills during this time of quarantine. So what we can do is go ahead and look for something. So let's say, for example, we want to learn how to be a better basketball player. So we can see that Steph Curry is right here. We can go ahead and explore the class, and there he is, Steph Curry. So we can go ahead and explore the class. We have the ability to watch some trailers. We can watch some lessons on it. Now we can see how to shoot the ball off the dribble. We can see some screens as well, pre-game preparation, so we can have that mindset. You can see that it says 17 video lessons, exclusive learning materials, and it's 100% guaranteed. You can see how much an all-access pass is for a year, so $240, and you can get 81 instructors. And you can see that like Masterclass uses different celebrities to master certain skills, so it has a bunch. So Masterclass is a relatively new thing. I don't think it, I think it launched about a month or two ago, so it's still relatively new. But you can see, you can learn how to cook by Gordon Ramsay, for example. So you can see that's what Masterclass can do for you. You can really master and hone in on those particular skills. Now we can take a look at TuneIn Radio. And TuneIn Radio is basically a radio app that gives you any radio around the world pretty much. And it is subscription based, but you can see your local radio and you can just hear it. And you can have access to different categories such as music, sports, news, talk, podcasts, recents, trending by location and by language. So TuneIn has all those different categories, and then at the bottom you can have your home, favorites, browse, search, and much more. So that's what it allows you to do. Now we do have Skype, which has been very good. I have been using Zoom as well because there's a lot of video conferencing going on during this time because Skype and Zoom are just very popular at this time. And we do have Reddit as well, so Reddit speaks for itself. You get a lot of access to online forums and see the Reddit community. We have PDF Expert, which is also very good. PDF Expert will just allow you to open and edit all your particular PDFs. We have the 7 app, so 7 is for your 7-minute workout. So we can just go into it, so you can create certain workouts. So we can have custom-made workouts. So you can just go ahead and just make one. You can see your library of workouts, so you can see your top 10 workouts. So let's say, for example, we have a upper body exercise, and you can just unlock it. And then you can just see that it is a subscription base as well, so $6.67 a month, and yearly is about $80 a month. But you can see overall the interface is really good, and you have different challenges for 30 days. So once it's a challenge and you have people competitive, this is a pretty good workout app, and it will help you push further and get to your goals in terms of fitness. So you have full body, upper body workouts, core workouts, lower body, fat burn, cardio, strength. And I really do like the user interface as well, so you can see how good this app has the potential to be. So I highly recommend 7. We have PixArt. So PixArt just will allow you to spice up your photos with different templates and do as the name suggests and get it some good PixArt. So we have all that here, so you can go ahead and go into it and just see that there's just a lot that you can add to it, and you have different templates. So let's say, for example, we have the collage, we have the instant film template. So you can have an instant film template and just have it. And you can see that this is also has a 7-day free trial and is a monthly app. But it's really good that we have the option to take a look at it. Now my next one is called Mealime. So I highly recommend this one. I'm super excited to show it to you. So here we have it. So Mealime allows you to pick certain meals for the week and you can just put them together and learn how to cook it. So if you're really into cooking and expanding your horizons in terms of learning and trying new foods, this is your app. So once again, I'm gonna go out. It's called Mealime, and we have pro recipes, you have exclusive recipes, you have some very nutritional foods that you can be eating. So we have all of this within Mealime, so we can see what's the most popular. Let's say we have a tomato spinach pasta with Parmesan. So we have that. So we can see that there's just a lot of great foods that we can go ahead and try and make. So let's say bean and pasta soup. So we have that here and it looks somewhat appetizing. So we have the cookware, we need a can opener, we need a chef's knife, we need a large pot, we need a stirring spoon, we need particular ingredients. So it goes pretty in depth. So it tells you what type of beans you need, what type of carrots you need, what type of pasta. So you need that macaroni elbow pasta. So we have all of that here. So we can add to our meal plan and you can go ahead and make it. So it's really nice that we have a solid recipe app because the iPad would be perfect right beside your kitchen as you can use it to play music and maybe even control a HomePod and then you can just look at your recipe and just quickly glance over. So you have all that. Now we do have the Wikipedia app. So the Wikipedia app I have been using a lot more now just to learn some more topics and just search up certain people and just know about history and just big on history. So it's good to have an app like Wikipedia now. I never used the Wikipedia app until recently. Normally I just search up certain topics and then go into Wikipedia, but the Wikipedia app is very, very informative. And if you're someone who's very inquisitive and just curious and just wants to know information, Wikipedia app is definitely one of my favorites. So that's my opinion on Wikipedia, and you can just learn a lot about it. So you can see what's trending and who is in the Wikipedia app for the day. So I just am a strong believer in learning new things every day, and Wikipedia fulfills that goal that I have. Now, we do have the Microsoft Teams app, and then we have the Blinkist app. So Blinkist basically allows you to get the key ideas from books in 15 minutes. So if you don't want to listen to a 10-hour audiobook, then Blinkist will get the job done, and you'll just be able to grasp the key concepts and just get and filter through that book. With the Blinkist app, so you don't have to listen to the non-essential information. You just get straight to the point, straight to the key points with the Blinkist app. Now we do have Microsoft Word and we have Disney Plus as well. Disney Plus is very solid as there's a lot of great Disney content that you can take a look at. Now we have the Video Leap app. So Video Leap will allow you to create some great videos with a lot of different effects. So it's a solid video editor. We can have text on the video. We can just add it here. So I can just double tap it. So you can just double tap to edit, and then we can say, please subscribe and like this video. So you can go ahead and put it in and have it right there. Now you can add different effects. You can just play the video. You can change the color on it. Put it in red. Put it in yellow. Now we can add certain stickers to the video. There's Giphy right there, so you can go ahead and just put mood. So you can go ahead and play back the video and just have that over it. So it's really good in that way. So we can just go ahead and play the video, and you can see that I have GIFs in it. So this is a solid video editor app. It has a lot of different features and good parts to it, so it's good to see that there is some solid video editor apps on the iPad Pro. Now we do have Merriam-Webster dictionary. I really am a fan of the dictionary and just learning certain words and connotations of words, so we can go ahead and just skip for now. And then we can see some of the words, so we can go ahead and look at the word of the day. Let's say, for example, we can say this is a new word of the day, so we can listen to it.
Exiguous.
Exiguous is the word of the day, so I want to make sure I pronounce it right. So you can see where the word comes from, what the previous words of the day were. So that's a really nice interface. So I'm a big fan of this dictionary, Merriam-Webster. It's been around forever, but it's a solid dictionary app for the iPad, and it's a very robust dictionary app, I must say. So we have that there. Now we do have the Vimeo app, and then we have the Pic Collage app, and that pretty much sums up the What's on My iPad Pro video. So I don't really have a lot of apps that use the Apple Pencil that take advantage of it. It's mostly there for show, but the Notes app is also very good on the iPad. So that is basically what's on my iPad Pro and what I've been using in the last few months, and I've been using my iPad Pro as my daily driver. So I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a like. Be sure to subscribe for more great content. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms. My username is AppleCritics. Go ahead and also check out applecritics.com for this Apple news, reviews, and more. And thanks for watching.